Very good morning, students. Hope you are doing well. This is C.S. Srinivas Reddy, faculty for Cost and Management Accounting, CA Intermediate. This video is literally helpful before the examination. Please do understand that you are preparing for the last 6 months or the last 1 year for your CA Intermediate examinations. But the day before examination preparation makes a difference. As a 5 times All India rank holder in CA and CMA courses, I'm pretty sure that the way you are preparing before examination makes a huge impact on the examination day. Now, for example, you are having 8 subjects in CA Intermediate. Some of the students might be writing only a single group. Some of the students might be writing both the groups. And I'm requesting everyone to watch this video till the end. The reason is that you will be getting big advantage with respect to costing. So I'm not discussing about any other subject. I'm restricting myself only to paper 3, costing. Now, the preparation for accounting and the preparation for costing would be different because the first examination, you'll be having some ample time. But with respect to other subjects, unless you have a holiday, so you'll be having maximum 18 hours for the next day to write the examination. So you need to complete the total subject in 18 hours. It is literally difficult to complete the total subject in 18 hours. However, during my classroom session, I have asked you to bifurcate all the questions into A category, B category, and C category. I'm again repeating, it is not about important, unimportant, and most important. It is, for example, if I take A category questions, which needs no preparation before the examination day, B and C category questions requires revision before the examination day, plus theory part. Otherwise, there would be approximately 300 questions in costing paper. So you cannot revise all the 300 questions. What majority of the students they do is that they start preparing for the examination very liberally, writing all the questions one by one sequence, and at the last they'll make hurry-burry and they'll miss the concepts. The confidence, always remember, 2 things you are supposed to understand in this for CA examination. You should know something about everything, and perfection, 100% perfection in 70% syllabus. Then I'm pretty sure that you'll get 70 marks. And I'm repeating, costing is one subject where you can get 100 out of 100. It's a practical subject. And even I check to 98 marks in accounting and 86 marks in costing. So if you prepare well, this is one subject which gives advantage for your aggregate. Okay. Right, students. Now I hope that all of you might have done A category, B category, C questions. Please revise only B and C and revise theory. Just see the only A category questions and don't practice also, because A category questions are those questions which you can answer even when you're sleeping. Those type of questions you should mark it as A. Now next is B and C category questions, right? Now, what important point to be remembered is that what books I'm supposed to prepare before the examination. I should refer only my ICI material and our classroom material. If you are a stressed student, please refer to my material. If you are if you are not my student, that means if you are not a stressed student, or if you have taken coaching from other institute, please refer to the classroom material, because that is what you are prepared for the last few days, right? Few months. Then you should refer to ICI material if questions are not covered. Then if time permits, go with suggested answers. So these things you are supposed to understand. These are the books you are supposed to prepare for classroom material and ICA material. Okay, right. Don't refer any other material before the examination, please. That is literally difficult. That is not a good choice you are supposed to doing during this part. Okay. Now, what I did is that I have made some sequence for May 22 examination. This is purely based on my understanding, my experience. Please do not take it as a conclusion. This is what I thought that, okay, what I made a difference is that there are some chapters which needs less preparation, more amount of marks. There are some chapters where little difficult, maybe I need to spend time, but I'll get marks. There are some chapters which I need to put more amount of time, but I may get only less amount of marks. So the effort, that is what I'm thinking about. So I've taken all the 15 chapters. You can prepare 12 chapters at 100%. Remaining chapters, you can just see the questions. And always remember that, for example, if you think a chapter is difficult, please do not leave the total chapter. In the examination, they may ask you very simple question in that chapter. If you're thinking overheads is difficult, but if they ask you a primary distribution, secondary distribution, simple question, you'll miss that. If you're thinking standard costing is difficult, if you're thinking fixed overhead variance is difficult, please do at least material and labor variance. Okay, so please do not leave the total chapter. Please complete at least basics of that tough chapter. Okay, right. So I've also marked what are the focused areas in every chapter. You just need to understand it. With respect to cost sheet, I'm expecting 10 marks from this chapter minimum. You can spend at least 30 to 45 minutes. First 4 chapters, you start at 6 p.m. after you arrive from the examination, 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Up to 11 p.m. you read first 4 chapters, what I said. The next day you focus on the remaining chapters. Okay. With respect to cost sheet, first you should understand what is specified format. You should able to write the total specified format, including works overheads, including cost of production, primary distribution, quality control costs, research cost, etc., primary packing, secondary packing, etc. And also focus from works cost to cost of production, because this is the major topic normally they miss in terms of examination. What is the treatment of quality control cost, admin overheads related to production? If it is admin overheads related to sales, it should go as a part of selling and distribution overheads. And R&D cost, packing cost. If it's a primary packing here, if it is secondary packing, it should go as a part of selling and distribution overheads. Okay. Examples of different overheads, which is there in quick revision material also, please refer that. And treatment of various items of cost in cost sheet, that is also given in our material. And advantage of cost sheet as a theory part. If you prepare this cost sheet, and you are secured good amount of marks in the examination. Okay. With respect to activity based costing, this is another chapter where you can fetch 10 marks from the examination. First, you should understand that format. So what is activity based costing? What are the cost drivers with examples? Cost hierarchy. You will be having 4 types of activities, like unit level, batch level, product level, facility level activities, right? Then stages in IBC 5, identification of activities within the organization, identification of cost drivers, cost pool, and cost driver rate and allocation, right? Analysis under, this is very important. Analysis under ABM is also very important, because you need to understand what is value added and non-value added activities. Please be focused on those areas also. Next, very important part is this 2 part, question number 3 and question number 2 from our material. Question number 3 says that they'll be giving overheads under traditional costing. They will not give any overheads under activity based costing. I said 3 important ones. Total overheads remain same, total cost remains same, total profit remains same, and sales remains also same. What makes the difference is only individual allocation. So that question is question number 3. With respect to question number 2, there, sir, production is for including defectives and sales is only excluding defectives. So that question I wanted to, because majority times what they should is number of units into contribution, they will take it. No, sales is for different quantity. Production is for different quantity. That is only I wanted to refer in question number 2. Please refer. And they'll be asking question ABC with standard costing, ABC with marginal costing. So those 2 questions are also covered in our material. Please be focused on that. And remaining everything is format based. Please do not leave any question with respect to activity based costing. Now, introduction to CMA, just to spend 30 minutes only for theory part, issued about 5 marks. What is objectives of cost accounting? Cost object with examples, responsibility centers, 4 responsibility centers: cost center, revenue center, cost center, profit center, and investment center. Cost accounting with the use of IT. This is also theory question. There is also a question called cost control versus cost reduction, but this question was given in the earlier exam. So usually earlier questions will not be repeated. Usually what I do is that with respect to AS or some other theory chapter, if question comes in the previous exam, I just leave it off, because 90% they will not be repeated. At least I can take some space in my mind, right? So those you are supposed to think from your own perspective. Unit and batch costing, yes, this is also a simple question which they can ask for minimum 5 marks. Any treatment is very important. Treatment of under absorption, over absorption, spoil, defective work, okay? And it's calculation of selling price per unit, which they can ask you. Important point is EBQ. We have different questions of economic batch quantity and difference between job and batch costing, a question for theory part. Standard costing, yes. If you are a student of Shrestha, then focus the standard costing beginning. If you are learning by using formulas 1 minus 2, 2 minus 3, please keep this chapter at the end, because you'll be getting confusion. If you are my student, yes, you know that what is the level of standard costing I have discussed. Please be focused the standard costing. First, you start with FOH variance, then an example, different ratios. Please be focused on this concept. Focus on material cost with normal loss, labor cost variance with gang and mixed variances. Then you focus on idle time variance and the 3 variances model also. What is 3 variance model? Expenditure variance, which is both variable and fixed overhead, and volume variance. Then we have what you can say, efficiency variance. And theory part is not much part, but you should understand the reasons of each variance, and idle time variance also be focused. Okay, so question comes, it will also come for 10 marks. Time costing is one very important simple chapter. And I also, if you are learning by this way, please shift your chapter to end. Now, this is about standard costing. You can spend approximately 1 to 2 hours on this topic. Okay. Next one is employee cost. Employee cost, yes, this one, normally what majority students they do is with material, labor, and overheads, but I'm putting employee cost in the beginning because there is a chance of getting marks employee cost which are of easy and which you can do in the examination. Focus on idle time. This is a theory part because they will be given examination also. What is the treatment of overtime if it is of different reasons? What is the treatment of idle time? Normal idle time, abnormal idle time. Again, controllable idle time, uncontrollable idle time. Please be focused on these 2 topics. Rowan Harsha premium plan, yes. And employee turnover and methods of calculation. Flex method, taxation method, replacement method. Please understand, please be focused on employee turnover this time. And what are the causes of employee turnover? Personal causes, employment related causes, that also you focus. Cost of employee turnover, sir, preventive cost and recruitment cost. So those will be part of cost of employee turnover. So these are the major topics you need to cover. Yes, you need to focus on other areas also, but I am telling you these are the major topics which you are supposed to, which you should not miss the topics. Okay. Now, with respect to joint and byproducts, if a question comes from joint and byproducts, it should come minimum for 10 marks. Why? Because it's a lengthy question. And in the examination, this question may come in 2 to 3 pages. Don't be worry about those topics. So if a question comes in 2 to 3 pages, don't think that is a difficult. Sometimes those questions could be very easy. Understand that? So that it is not about the quantity of the question. This is how the quality of the question you should be able to understand. Now, what examiner usually you'll get fear that, okay, if the question is 2 pages, let me leave and go to the next page, next question. No, please, in the 15 minutes, please read these questions, understand. If the question is easy, please attempt it. And one thing which I want like to tell to all the students is that don't think that you'll get as it is questions in the examination which have read from our material or from the institute material. No, then it will not be a CA examination. There would be a different numbers, different names, concept would be same, that you should understand. Now, with respect to joint cost, NRV method and contribution margin method, please focus on this time. And the treatment of byproducts, when they are small value, when they are of equal value, okay, the theory part you need to understand. And decision to sell at split off point or further processing by using incremental revenue, incremental cost. If incremental, there is a profit, further process. If there is a loss, please select split off point. Okay, so this is the topic with respect to joint and byproducts. Service costing, yes, if this is also a question which you can arrive for 10 marks and plus theory part also. With respect to service cost unit, different examples which is for theory. Majorly you need to understand about equivalent concept, whether in terms of transport, whether in terms of hotels, in terms of hospitals. You need to understand the equivalent concept, because in terms of transport, they say that students coming from 4 kilometers, 8 kilometers, 16 kilometers. With respect to hotel, deluxe room, luxury rooms, etc. Hospital also, adult, children, and what I can say, old, like that they'll be giving. So if the fees is different for each type, then you should use the equivalent concept. That means service is same and the fees is different. You need to use the concept of equivalent concept. One question in our examination, in our material, there is a from you will get amount from insurance, you can collect from patients. That question is also very important. And transportation also, please be focused. So focus on hotel and hospitality services. Remaining questions usually you can do in the examinations. Job and contract costing, question from contract costing also will arrive at minimum 10 marks. Now, treatment of spoiled and defective work, job and process costing, theory part in terms of job costing. They may ask you to work out job cost sheet also. Please focus on that area. With respect to contract costing, we first understand what is cost plus contract with escalation clause, and contract cost gives from more than 1 year. So how to work it out? And you should understand the topics of important topics with contract costing is what is work certified. Work certified includes profit. Work uncertified is only at cost. So retention money, progress payments, first to understand those topics also. Okay. Now this is also one of the important topic. Cost accounting system, if you are very thorough with entry flow, if you can write, for example, if you know stores ledger control account, labor control account, overheads control account, then to work in progress control account, then to finished goods control account, cost of goods to control account, admin overheads. If you are very thorough with interflow, please focus on this chapter also. Otherwise, you leave this chapter to end. Normally, last time they are given a question based on a reconciliation statement with loss, because this is only topic. If it is given with profit, it is usually like our BRS only. BRS with normal credit, BRS with OD, right? Similar concept with reconciliation statement. Memorandum reconciliation, you should put that in terms of a ledger. Items excluding cost accounts and financial accounts, theory part, please be focused. Reconciliation of cost and financial accounts, if it is a statement wise, you focus on this topic. Marginal cost, there is no end for marginal cost, because any question can be asked from marginal cost, starting from BEP, cash BEP, multiple BEP. Then you have a margin of safety with respect to shutdown point, indifference point, cost indifference point. Many topics with respect to marginal costing, because this chapter is easy but lengthy, because the question you cannot expect from which topic. And one I can say is that BEP in case of shelf life, then you should follow FIFO method. Absorption costing versus marginal costing, yes, they'll be asking profit under absorption costing and profit under marginal costing and reconciliation. The difference would only on account of fixed factory overheads. Fixed factory overheads is a product cost under absorption costing, period cost under marginal costing. multi-product BEP, and then you have different formulas. Relevant or irrelevant costs are there in the material, and key factor analysis, and go with the decision making also. Okay. This is a lengthy chapter, but surely without marginal costing chapter, there will be no examination paper. I would like to tell you a few topics also, because those chapters which are there in CWA final, like standard costing, marginal costing, budgets and budgetary control, ABC, surely you'll get these questions in terms of CA Inter also. Material cost focus on theory part. What are items to be included, excluded from the material cost, bill of materials, okay, requisition notes, etc. Different inventory level, minimum level, maximum level, average level, danger level, and EOQ question. Difference between like questions like waste and scrap, those questions are there. Please understand that. Stores ledger versus bin card. Treatment of items associated with purchase of material like excise duty, VAT, octroi, JIT, just-in-time system also, theory part. And this analysis of ABC, VED, what is VED, vital, essential, and desirable, fast, slow-moving, non-moving, light analysis, treatment of abnormal and normal loss of materials, and questions also they'll be asking. So majorly on inventory levels, economic order quantity, decision making also they'll be asking with respect to material cost. Budgets and budgetary control, yes, question would come for 10 marks minimum. Theory part is fixed versus flexible budget. Majorly, the question would come based on flexible budget or cash budget or based on ratios. Theory part, ZBB, zero-based budgeting, different master budget, budget manual. These topics, please be focused on budgets and budgetary control and ratios also. Last topic is overheads. So this is not, why I think is that overheads, if you take in the initial, you'll spend a lot of time on that. That is the reason I'm moving last. If you're thinking overheads is difficult, please focus on minimum areas like primary and secondary distribution, simultaneous equation methods, and blanket overhead recovery rate, multiple overhead recovery rate. And the treatment of under absorption and over absorption of overheads is also very important, whether by using supplementary rate or whether you take it to costing P&L or whether you carry forward to the next year. These topics are very important with respect to overheads. Treatment of certain items in costing, it is there in terms of your study material. Concepts related to capacity, practical capacity, normal capacity, those topics you should focus in terms of overhead chapter. And these are the topics which you are supposed to focus. But my sincere suggestion to everyone is that first day you finish 4 chapters. First day at least you finish 4 chapters, and next day morning, for example, you start at 7 or 6 p.m., read at 11 p.m. Morning, you try to wake up between 4 to 5, and then you start preparing this one. Otherwise, what happens is that don't complete only 1 or 2 chapters in the first day. That means it gives a lot of pressure on the next day. And theory part, many students feels that, okay, I'll leave theory part, I'll do only practical questions. Not correct, because sometimes theory will save you. I repeat this word, theory will save you. So please focus on theory part also. Whatever the topics, at least important topics, differences, surely you'll get 1 question based on differences. By writing difference, you should write down what is the basis of difference, and 1 and 2 difference. Okay, so that also, the way of presentation is very important. You should get impression from the examiner. First, write those questions only when you know 100% accurate. The first 1 hour, try to finish at least minimum 30 minutes, 30 marks. What majority students they do is that, okay, if they'll take 1 question, they start working out for another 25 to 45 minutes also. What is important in examination? Getting marks. Your knowledge is irrelevant. How you do for the first 3 hours of your examination, that makes a difference. I remember in terms of my costing and financial management, I got a cash budget question, not cash flow statement, because at that time FM is also part of paper 3. Started working, 18 minutes is over. How we calculate 18 minutes, sir? 1 mark is 1.8 minutes. That is the basis. I didn't tally it. What did I do? Immediately I took a decision, leave 2 pages, go to the next question. At the end, I came back and I finished it. Otherwise, if you go on spending on this part, this question, what happens? Maybe your cash flow will get tallied, but you'll get only maximum 16 marks. How much time I'm spending? So first 1 hour, if you finish 30 marks, second hour, if you are able to finish by 60 to 65 marks, last 1 hour, it is like your economics paper. You can do very well. So write only those questions, sequence not required, those questions which you know 100% accurate. Get that confidence that will build up your confidence in the next. Initially, you started a question, you are unable to write it down, you'll get shivering, okay, sweat, everything. Just take a break for 1-2 minutes, then start doing it. Keep watch with you and make sure that 1 mark is 1.8 minutes. If it is a 5 marks, please finish in 9 minutes or 10 minutes. If you are unable to finish it up, please leave the space and go to the next question. So that is only the thing you need to understand in the examinations. Okay. And usually many students in the beginning, they feel anxiety. Please remove that. And please don't do hard work for 1 or 2 examination, because you'll get tired when you are coming back. You should have a same preparation from beginning chapter to beginning examination to last examination. So because I feel in terms of my CA final, when I started writing first exams, when I come back to 6th and 7th examination, I literally tired. So brain takes a lot of energy here. So you should be very focused and don't do one day very hard work, less hard work another day. Please be consistent on every day. So with respect to costing, yes. So please focus on these areas. If you have any doubts, you just message me in Telegram or WhatsApp. I'm available, and I'm wishing you all the best with respect to your examinations. Thank you, students.